Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a very tired episode 151 of NerdPod Generations. As always, I am your illustrious host, Steve Taylor, along with the lovely Al Judson.
Hello, friends and enemies.
What's up, man?
Dude, it's been a fucking time.
It's been a time.
Jesus Christ. We crossed the 150 threshold.
Yeah.
And I got the sickest I've been in like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. Took a lot out of you.
Yeah, so that's why we've been gone. And then last week, me and Kelly had a trip. And so it's just been, the last week and a half have been good. The week before that was extremely bad.
Yeah.
They found sepsis in my ear. They don't know how. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but we made it out. Thank God for
Nice.
antibacterials. Hopefully won't have the sound issues that I found out when I could hear out of both ears were kind of present in episode 150. So if anybody noted those, I noted them once I could hear again.
Very good. Well, we're back, though. That's the important thing.
The important thing.
I'm very happy we were able to do this. So, folks, today is our big NFL preview show.
Yes.
We are actually recording this on Wednesday, so the day before the first game.
Right
so
before.
we're getting it in right at the very end.
Right in on it.
Oh, my God, I can't wait for this. So, friends, if this is your first time listening to us, please go to nerdpodgen.com. There are links to pretty much everything. And finally, Apple Podcast has an online presence on PC so that I could set up a link to our podcast on Apple Podcasts at our website. So now there's links to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, everything else.
You know, I'm not going to go on one of my classic Apple diatribes.
Yes, you will.
But I'm just going to say it's 2024.
Yeah.
Tick, tick.
Yeah. Little TikToks. We are going to jump right in. We're going to start like we do each week with what we've been watching, playing, reading. Did you want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll coin flip it for you, or
Coin
rock,
flip
paper,
it.
scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Damn it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, you go.
Okay. So, I won, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
If you can't see, I had scissors, he had paper. But all right, so I was going to touch on 2 Marvel things, but I decided to only touch on one because I want to also briefly talk about I have been playing more of NCAA Football.
Yeah, that was a big deal for you.
I love the game. I've realized once again the reason why the game works instead of Madden is it has all the same issues as Madden does. Pretty much everything is a nightmare in that game as far as the secondary doing the most miraculous interceptions. Even when you have 5 steps on them, they're able to close the ground to intercept the ball.
Yeah.
My wide receivers jumping for passes, which made no sense. Like, I'll throw a pass that hits my guy in stride, and instead of catching it in stride and still running, he will jump for no reason, catch it, and the animation of him jumping slows him down enough where the defender can stop.
Yeah.
And it gets so frustrating.
Yeah.
But I think, once again, the thing that makes this game better is the Road to Glory, which is their, create a player mode. 1,000 times better than anything Madden's ever done. Mm-hmm. It's not buckled down with a stupid storyline or voiceover or any of that crap. It is very meat and potatoes, very sim, very fun. And then the gameplay, like I said, I think it hides its flaws because you're playing as college students.
Oh, okay.
So I have less of an expectation of things to be perfect.
Now, have they introduced NIL into the conceit
Yes.
of the game so you can get contracts to get more and more
You
money?
can get contracts to get money. You can go into the transfer portal.
Nice.
Everything. So it's awesome, but they don't overdo it. Like, I was playing at Kenosha State just because that's where my guy got drafted. Or not drafted, selected. As the starter. All these other teams, I could have been like second or third string, but I wanted to be the starter. You get an NIL deal from like a local barbershop saying, can you do a commercial and I'll give everyone on the offensive line haircuts?
That's really funny.
If you agree to it, then your leadership goes up because you're doing that to get your other players haircuts. So it's cool that they do things like that.
I like a lot.
It is
I like
really
that
good.
a lot.
It is really good. And then I just transferred over because my guy, his freshman and sophomore year was so good. I got into the transfer portal and went to Ohio State.
Wow.
as the starter.
The
Ohio
State.
As the starter. And now I'm wondering what the I haven't played a game yet. Like, I just did the transfer, so I'm waiting to see what the NIL deals will be for the bigger colleges. I'm assuming it's going to be money.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
That is so different than how I play football games.
Yeah.
Because listen, I spent more time as a Bills fan watching them be terrible than Sirius Black spent in Azkaban prison. All right? He only did 12 years.
Yeah.
I did fucking 17 of that shit, man. There was a long period of time where I would just play as the Bills and either do a fantasy draft so I could make them good, or go in and edit their players or add a player so that they would have like this trump card player. And I remember doing that for Trent Edwards because I was I just need them to be good. And he started 5-0 that one year. You know, the idea of like, I'm going to make a player and then let him get drafted wherever. Because, like, you say that you're part of the Ohio State. I'm like, that's an interesting choice. But at the same time, I'm sure within the mechanics of the game, there was a reason why you chose the Ohio State.
Well, it was one of the few, which in this game, they're only a 4-star team, not a 5-star team.
Really?
And it was one of the few 4-star teams that offered me the starting position if I transferred. I didn't want to go in as a bench player or second string. I wanted to be the starter. So that's, but what I almost didn't do it because I was able to bring Kennesaw State to the Fiesta Bowl.
Wow.
And I lost to the team who ended up winning. Was it Miami? I can't remember, but I ended up losing. But I also do like to take these bad 1-star teams and make them good. Yeah. That's a fun, that's fun for me to do. Like, all right, there's nobody on this team, but I know my play calling is going to be better than, so I'm going to try to, and then over the years, because I also have the online dynasty I'm doing with a friend of mine, where you're not just, like the Road to Glory, you're only controlling the quarterback. That is it. You don't control anybody else on the team. You don't do anything else because that's your guy.
Can you pick a different position, or do you have to be quarterback?
No, you pick any position.
Oh, okay.
But I pick quarterback because I put my son's name. I've always
okay.
You get the play and you can call audibles, but you can't choose the play because the coach sends in the play, just like in real football. But like the dynasty mode, I enjoy because I'm I'm Oregon State Beavers. Mm-hmm. So I was only like a 2-star team, but I've brought them like knocking on the door of being a great team, and it's that gratification where you're like, oh my god, I'm like third in the country, and I wasn't even third in my division. You know what I mean?
Being an actual Deion Sanders as opposed to the actual Deion
the fake
Sanders.
Deion Sanders. You mean basing everything on your children? But anyway, so I love that game. The Marvel journey my son and I have been on. We are currently watching Hawkeye, so I was going to talk about that, but we're only we still have 2 episodes left. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to wait till next week.
You got to find out what happens with Kingpin.
I know what happens with stupid Kingpin. So Eternals. That's what we've watched since our last show that I can talk about. This will be
glorious, I'm sure.
So this is, and I think we kind of touched on this when we watched it. I think if this movie had a proper editor, it would be a lot better than it was. Because in watching it, yes, the writing isn't great. Some of the storylines aren't great.
That's my thing.
But the biggest problem was this thing was edited by somebody with their eyes closed, with their fingers in their ears, just using their tongue on the keyboard. Mm-hmm. It is so over the top. And I'm wondering, because I remember the big thing that they were preaching with this is that it's the longest Marvel movie, because it is like 2 hours and 46 minutes.
But Endgame was 3 hours.
No, but I don't know. It was said it was one of the longest or something.
Yeah.
I remember they were just pushing that, saying it's like the most adult and one of the...
See, I remember them pushing it as this prestige piece. That they were like, this is going to be an Academy Award nominated. We're going to put this out in November so it gets real Academy buzz.
Yeah. It had, and that's the thing is, it had moments. Like it had the skeleton of what they were preaching, but then they just fucked it all up. Like when I watched it, I was like, man, this isn't good, but there's something here.
Yeah.
And like I said, a big part of it is they needed to edit out easily 45 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
Could have easily been gone, and it would have been a much tighter film. But then the underuse of characters, which we discussed with not only Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, Kit Harington. Like, there's so many, like, good characters in it that are either underutilized or they're just poorly written. Kind of like Icarus.
Icarus, yeah.
He could have been the perfect mix between Homelander and Superman. As far as the abilities are the same, but then good, bad, and it's just he was written so poorly.
Yeah.
That bothered me because I'm like, you had the perfect actor for it. He was really, for what he had. I don't fault him because I do like him as an actor after Game of Thrones and Rocket Man. He was in that. There's so many missed opportunities in this movie.
Well, that was my whole thing with this movie. Was I like Sprite and I like Makari. I thought Barry Koenig's character was a waste of time. Druig. Yes. I don't know what the fuck this was about. I know what it was about, but you never got there. Festus, I was like, this is fine, but not. It's a waste of Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah.
And then you get the big hitters, where it's like Cersei. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
You get Icarus. There's nothing here.
Nothing.
You get Angelina Jolie. What was her name? Thana?
I think Thana.
Because she's supposed to be related to Thanos, which is another thing that we're going to get to. Nothing. Gilgamesh? Nothing. What was the name of Camille Nanjiani's characters? Like Kengu or something. Less than nothing. Like they make him Kingu. Like they just nothing. They made him into this joke that was never anything that was funny.
And even though I was expecting it, it was still jarring where he just disappears.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Why is he gone?
Yeah.
Like, this guy literally got yoked to play this role, and you're going to take him out of most of the action scenes.
Yeah. There were so many elements of that movie that when it came to characters, I was like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is less than nothing. And then you have Black Knight in it, quote unquote.
And
it's less than nothing. And then you have the everything of the plot itself.
Yeah.
So you, on top of having very little for me to build on, you then have this plot which almost goes out of its way to insult me as an audience member when they say, we don't need to talk about what about Thanos.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That was one that, because I remember when we first saw it, and Kit Harington, the Black Knight, his character actually does bring it up to Cersei, saying, well, why didn't you help with Thanos? And her response was, well, we were only supposed to interfere if it had to do with the...
the Anti-Eternals. Oh, what are they called? They are called, the main leader is Crow. They're deviants.
Deviants, thank you. It's true when you think of it, you're like, okay, so they needed to stop the deviants so that the population could continue to grow so that there was enough energy and life force for the Celestial to be born. But they weren't told to interfere with Thanos, even though he snapped out half of all life in the universe. Stopping the birth of potentially thousands, if not millions, of Celestials.
It doesn't make any sense.
It makes it really made no sense.
It makes no fucking sense. And it's insulting to us as an audience, their excuse of like, well, but we weren't supposed to. What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
But now you are. Now you're like, oh, we're going to replace the Avengers. Who's going to be Captain America? Who's going to be Iron Man? I'm like, where was this industriousness 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago? When Thor, an actual god, dropped out of the heavens, did you think maybe might be something want to check out? And then it gets even worse when you explore the actual canon of the Eternals, where Thanos is a deviant. It's as simple as that. There's a reason why Thanos' name is so close to Thanos. They're related, literally. Mm-hmm. And then you get into the Crow stuff, where he's an actual being, not just some monster that kind of has this weird hypnotic thing.
It's so weird.
I hate this. Like, you want to talk about missed opportunities. It's just opportunities blown off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's supposed to be because it needs to be more artistic, so they need to make him more natural. But then you get the fucking Power Ranger Sans helmet costumes where everybody
it's so bad.
I don't get this, man.
And it was a banger cast. Like, I'm watching it like, how the fuck did this not succeed? Like, the cast is fucking ridiculous, and it just was so poorly written. You know, once again, I look at the second half of Shang-Chi as the really big downslide for writing with Marvel, where they just got lazy and said, let's just put a bunch of CGI and a couple dragons and fucking say fuck it. And then this movie, kind of the same thing, where it's like, we just need a lot of CGI creatures. We need to have a celestial break through the core of the Earth, but not destroy or affect the Earth in any way, shape, or form.
In any way, shape,
Except
or form.
To bring adamantium.
Which you didn't need to do. You already have all the ingredients to make adamantium.
And you know damn well that when they came up with it, that was not their intention.
Well, and not only that, you know damn well that someone invented this as a rationale because they didn't understand what adamantium actually is.
Yeah.
They just didn't open a fucking book and they said, oh, this can be how we introduce adamantium. No, shithead. You already had everything you need to make adamantium.
Yeah.
And adamantium is not just a Wolverine thing, also. So you could have used it and argued contractually that it is not just a Wolverine thing, that there are other characters who use adamantium as part of their whole thing. So I don't get this, man. This is fucking bullshit.
And in watching this, I'm like, this is before Mouth of Madness.
Mouth of Madness is better than Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, Mouth of Madness was an actual movie in the 80s, I believe, Into the Mouth of Madness.
Even better.
But Multiverse of Madness, so it's before that. So Doctor Strange, at least, is on the planet. Because we've seen Wong in,
Shang-Chi.
We know in Shang-Chi, so we know Doctor Strange. Everything that's going on with the battle, the huge battle at the end, and the Celestial coming out, it's like,
Wong or Steven didn't want to step in on this, kind of just poke their head and be like, hey, what's going on?
Let alone them contacting Captain Marvel and saying, hey, there's a being coming out of the center of the Earth.
The fucking planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you fucking come help us?
It might be an issue. It might be something you want to look into.
That's the part that I was like, what the fuck?
Well, and also, the Avengers don't have a leader at this point, so you would have a moment where it would actually be interesting to see how all these characters on the Avengers would react to this giant crisis happening. Like, they should have had some response. To have no response is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me think that there is no Avengers at this point then. To have no response to this.
We know that the Hulk is kicking around.
Hulk is around.
At the end of Shang-Chi.
Thor was still on the planet.
Thor was still there.
No, I guess Thor went off with the Guardians. But
yeah, but still, that
Valkyrie's on the planet. All of those Asgardians, none of those Asgardians are going to be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You're not going to have any moment where someone is like, oh, this is because of the Asgardians, or this is because... There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's zero world building. Almost a lack of conceptual understanding of the 11 years of filmmaking that had predated this.
Yeah.
And
So, and I think that's the main thing with me with the Eternals, and it has been since we watched it the first time. I'm just very disappointed. Like, I don't get disappointed with Marvel movies anymore. I just get mad.
Yeah.
The Eternals disappointed me. Just because I thought, with that cast, you have an interesting group of characters. There's something, and they fucked it up, and that's what was disappointing.
Well, and it's so arrogant.
Oh,
it's so arrogant. It's as arrogant as the Acolyte or fucking Joker at times, of just like, you're gonna love us. We're gonna be so good. We're gonna knock your fucking pants off. And if it didn't knock your pants off, there's something wrong with you. And it's amazing. And check it out. We're gonna get nominated and win all the Oscars. And it's like, do you know that the reason Black Panther was nominated at all and won anything was because of the nature of the people making it.
Yeah.
And the way that they embraced the cultural aspects in a way that had never been done before.
Yeah.
Name one moment where that kind of thing happens here.
And if you think about it, because Shang-Chi, I believe, was a success. This was the first of
big
the downslide.
failures.
Because you can't count Black Widow because that was a COVID thing.
Yeah.
So this was the first big failure.
Yeah.
And it's like watching it, you're like, oh, this is where the slide started.
This is the moment they fall flat on their face. Yeah. And then they have, it's like one of those parents trying to get a Tickle Me Elmo, where they fall flat on their face, and before they can get up, you suddenly have She-Hulk running over their back, and Hawkeye, and Echo, and Loki Season 2, and it's just over and over again, they're just getting stampeded by all this bad content that they already had in the pipeline. And it's like, well, this is how we got where we are. Is you have one trampled parent, no Tickle Me Elmos, and a bunch of stupid shit just scattered around the store.
That is the only positive I'm looking forward to, is the next episode of Hawkeye is the Florence Pugh one.
Which is a good one.
And I that's why I'm excited, because I do remember her so fondly in this series as the only good thing about the series.
I like Haley Steinfeld in the series.
She's good.
I have complaints about how they executed on her story, just because I again end up having questions about the snap and it's missed opportunities. It's not so much that they didn't get Kate right. It's that they had better options and they didn't execute on any of them.
Well, and like just briefly, once again, I'll talk about more next week. The thing that I don't like about her is they pulled a Spider-Man with her, which they kind of, and a lot of times, made her really dumb. And it's like, she's not this stupid. Like, no one's.
She's smarter than Clint.
Yeah, and they play that in some scenes, but then the other scenes, she's just doing stupid shit, and you're like.
You're also hampered by the fact that I'm thinking of My Life as a Living Weapon Clint. The Clint Barton that I grew up with, that I love, that I've watched since his immaculate line when they return to Avengers Mansion, not Tower, Mansion, and the place is just absolutely fucking trashed. And his reaction is, man, somebody really pearled our harbor. It's like, it will live in infamy in my mind forever. Because how could it not? But like, you don't have that Hawkeye.
No,
you have swell dad Hawkeye who got an arm tattoo and drank a lot for 5 years.
And the hearing aid thing with him, it's like, once again, I know that this show came out. We're not going to talk about Hawkeye. Let's go on to your.
I was about to say, because that's from the comics and I'm okay with it. But
I know it is, but it's pigeonholed in this. We'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next week. So I got a bunch of things because I haven't done Watch, Play, Read in a while. Last time we were recording, I devoted my segment to the trailer park.
No, that's right.
So I got a little bit to catch up on.
D23 was last time.
Yeah. When I was sick, when I was like very, very sick, we watched all of the Harry Potter movies.
Nice.
Because what else are you going to do when you're sick except watch Harry Potter? And it made me remember how much I love Harry Potter and gave me a deeper appreciation for some of the movies. 4, I used to give a ton of grief to. I think it's a lot better than I remember it being. It's still flawed. I will never get over. Me and Kelly had to keep pausing the movie because we would just turn to each other as the scene approached. Did you put your name in the fire? What? Did you put your name in the fire? Calm down.
But see, that one will always go down to me as the most head-scratching deleted scene. And that's the one where Snape is catching kids making out, and Karkaroff comes and confronts him, and Harry hears it, and that's why he's walking in the doors of the main hall, like, confused. But when they cut it out, now it's just him walking in confused. It's like, where the fuck did he go?
Well, and like, when I was rewatching it, I thought of that, and I watched that scene, and you're right, it should just be there.
Because it was only like 2 minutes.
It's 2 minutes in a 2.5 hour movie. Just throw it in.
And it was such a huge scene. Yeah. It's like, that's an important fucking scene.
Yeah. And then we can argue the pros and cons of shooting students out of bushes as opposed to carriages and all these other things. Yeah. I mean, like, the movies aren't perfect.
No,
there's a lot of stuff where Kelly hasn't read the books all the way through.
She hasn't?
No, because she wasn't really interested at the time. Holy shit, and then when this is a true story, on our first date, we were talking on a tilt-a-whirl about Harry Potter, and she told me that she hadn't read any of it. And we had like this nice conversation about it. Fast forward a few months when we're like very serious and going to be together, and it's decided that she's going to read it when we read it to our kids. So It's a surprise for her too. Nice. But this meant that I still had a lot of things that I had to be like, oh, well, in the book it's this, and in the book they do this, and in the book this happened. Yeah. And it's such an interesting series of films.
It is.
Because they do stand on their own, but they are far enhanced by knowing the actual story.
Yeah.
But it's also not a deterrent not to know the story. But there are just so many moments where I was watching it and I'd be like, oh, I forgot that there's this, and that there's this, and that there's this, and that we're skipping this, and we're not going to do this. And it's so confusing to me at times because they're addicting to watch. They're very nostalgic, very fun. And at the same time, you're like, Creature's arc is just not here.
No.
It just makes no sense why he's even here in the movies. Why is he here? Because in the books, he means a big difference.
Yeah.
But here, it doesn't make any sense. Where does Dobby go this whole time? Well, in the books, we know where Dobby goes.
Into the kitchen.
You know? Yeah. So, like, we can have arguments over whether Ludo Bagman should be in the movies. I think he should, but I get why he's not. I do think that there should be a scene of Harry giving the twins all the money from winning the Triwizard Cup. You know, like, there's just a million things that I'm like, you should have done this, you didn't do this. So, like, watching it as a person who has become so highly critical of how adaptations are done, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because there are pluses and minuses. I would have loved to have seen all the stuff in book 4 before they get to the stadium.
Yeah.
But we go pretty much straight to the stadium. And I get why. Because making a movie, it makes sense to start there. That makes the most sense. You don't need all this preamble. But I kind of like the preamble.
Yes. Like, to me, the Half-Blood Prince is the biggest
That's the biggest one. Because
How
that was...
do you not have Dumbledore go to the Dursleys in the beginning to fucking get Harry? That is the best interaction. And you cast the Dursleys so perfect.
Yeah.
That to have Dumbledore interact with the Dursleys, I was so mad when they did that stupid love interest at the train station bullshit. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, and then you get into the biggest sin for me in that movie is that they took out an action sequence and put it someplace else for no reason within the body of the plot.
They took out the first battle of Hogwarts. It's like, that's like huge.
I'm explaining to Kelly, like, no, this is like a huge fight.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's interesting that Harry drinks all the Felix in the middle of the movie is because that's how everybody survives the first battle of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, these things, Tonks, totally missed character because they don't have time.
Yep.
And so we're just steamrolling past stuff, not going to Tonks' parents' house.
Yeah.
And finding out all this stuff about her and the Malfoys. And we're just steamrolling through stuff because we have to. Because these movies are still like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
For the most part. Not all. But for the longer ones are all still over 2 hours long. And we're still just steaming through stuff. Because we just don't have time to do it all.
And it's like, I like, also with 5, I was like, fuck. I wanted them to go to the hospital to visit Mr. Weasley, to see Gilderoy Lockhart, and to see Neville visiting his parents.
Like, we get a little bit of that, but I had to explain to Kelly because they don't get into what that means.
No, not at all.
5 is the most fascinating movie to me because there are so many little breadcrumbs that are dropped specifically for people that have read the books, but it's done in such a way that it's kind of maddening.
Yeah.
Because as a viewer, if you haven't read the books, it's kind of confusing why certain things are brought up and not finished off and not talked about, or why certain things seem kind of skimmed over or done quickly. Why is Grop here? Why is this a thing? And
because they needed a CGI comic relief character.
But, like, as a book reader, you'd be like, if Grop isn't here, you'd be like, what are we doing? Because, like, the Quidditch Cup and Weasley is our king. Not here.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I appreciate what's here, and I like that you do winks and nudges, but at the same time, there's just moments where I'm like, but this should be here.
Yeah.
This needs to be done. We need this. That's why I don't like the third one. Because the third one, as beautiful as Cuarón is at making movies, some of those transitions just piss me off.
Yeah, they're not good.
Because it's not good enough to merit the amount of time that we're spending on it. And we're losing stuff to give time to these kind of stupid, drawn-out transitions.
Yeah, I agree. And out of every book to movie adaptation, it has, to me, the most egregious missed character that should be in Peeves. How can you not have Peeves? You don't need to go into crazy detail. I mean, you have the ghosts in the first couple, and then you pretty much forget that they exist until the final movie. And it's like, How do you not have fucking Peeves? When the Weasley brothers are trying to escape and Peeves helps them, it's fucking awesome.
Well, and it's a nice little delaying tactic.
Yes.
It's like roll for something, and it's just on occasion, they'll be sneaking around trying to do something, and Peeves will inadvertently help them.
Yes.
Or will fully blow it for them.
Yes.
And it's just like, that's something that you can weave into the plot. And oh God, it's so tricky. Oh. It makes me want even more for them to do first off, buy it out from J.K. Rowling, please. I don't care how much money you have to offer her. If we have to shutter DC movies for 5 years, fine, whatever. But I want her name off of this. And then do a one chapter, one episode, or one book, one season. And you can do one chapter, one episode for like the first 2 seasons. And then you kind of have to start mashing stuff together a little bit.
See, the only thing that would keep me from wanting that is I saw them try their best with the Percy Jackson series. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is you would have to, if you did a season per book, the kids got older quick.
Do animation.
There you go. That's the key. Animation.
And do animation, and it solves all your problems, and everybody will fucking love it.
Yes,
because of course they will.
You just solved everything by saying animation.
We're gonna talk about this in just a second because I got more, but we got other stuff to talk about.
I do have to give a positive shout out. Still to this day, one of the greatest CGI things I've ever seen in my life is Dobby in the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
Especially when he's dying.
When he's dying on the beach.
Holy shit. I still, when I watch it, I'm in disbelief that that's the digital animated character.
Yeah.
They did spectacular.
It's an incredible job.
Unbelievable
job. The graphics in all of the movies are really good, and the effects are
early Dobby in the second movie, it's like, holy fuck, that's
it's still really good. It holds up.
So good.
And not only that, Kelly pointed this out a lot, it's made at a time when you have to mix in practical.
Yeah.
It's easier to mix in practical for some of these things than it would be to do a digital pot stirring itself.
Yes.
It's just easier to build a pot that stirs itself. And so there's a lot of practical in the first handful of movies.
And I know we've discussed this, still the worst werewolf ever.
Oh, 100% the worst werewolf.
When you have, how do you say his name? Fenrir Greyback?
Fenrir Greyback.
Fenrir Greyback. And you're like, you could have done it so much better. Because, like, even him in just his half-human little furry makeup was far more terrifying than that fucking gangly-ass
the gangly, werewolf. Balding werewolf.
Which, once again, Kieran in the third movie, we're going to give him all the blame for that.
It's the comb-over. Oh, that's the one that does it for me.
The comb-over.
The comb-over is really bad. I don't get that
and it's just a terrible werewolf.
It doesn't look good.
Terrible.
It doesn't look good.
No.
When that happens in the book, it's terrifying. There are some of the moments in my childhood that I was truly scared by. A lot of them came from book 3.
Yeah.
Because it's stuff like people breaking into your house.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit. And it's just like, oh, you don't know your house as well as you think you do. You thought you were safe, but anything can happen at any time.
Yep.
And even these people that purport to have control over the entire situation are like, dude, this is not good.
Yeah.
They're bad. So
Did I give you that?
I do love Harry Potter. Buy it out from under J.K. Rowling. I beg. I watched the Wolverine director's cut, which was really fun to watch after watching Deadpool and Wolverine.
It's still a good movie.
It was a lot better than I remember
it being.
I think of the Origins movies, Logan and the Wolverine moved so far away from X-Men Origins Wolverine that it almost feels bad to mix them together. Because it's not fair to Logan and the Wolverine to be like, oh, and these came from X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's like, yes, but also... But I do like how they pay homage to Last Stand and they try and actually tell a story in that world. I was like, I like this. I can deeply appreciate this, especially with how a lot of the other X-Men movies went. So that was cool. I
do love the intro where he's the homeless guy and he has to hunt down the bear hunter. Yeah. It's like, that was really cool.
And you have that great cold open where he's in Nagasaki, in a prisoner camp. There's a lot of really good stuff.
Really good shit.
I wish the ending was a little stronger. The Silver Samurai stuff just didn't really work. But, you know, it's okay. I'll give it to you.
And that's the worst is because it's a movie that really didn't have an overwhelming amount of CGI and you're going to end it with this big CGI character. And it's like...
Yeah.
with the head coming out, the human head, and it's like, that's so fucking bad.
And then he de-ages, and then he it's definitely the weakest part of that movie. I think also Lady Viper is just a missed opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
They use her for some stuff, but you don't get a sense of anything about her. And so she's just kind of this anonymous evil, and you're just like, what am I supposed to do with this?
It's like, let's get a very hot blonde, make her this villain, and just have her be hot.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what they did.
She's hot and evil.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's her entire character.
That's it.
I was like, okay, this kind of sucks. I watched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, nice.
Which I returned to while I was in New York. It was very fun. A nice little watch.
Great. I haven't seen the new one, so I'm just going to say the trilogy is great.
I was going to watch the new one, but I like watching movies with headphones, and my ears were still healing.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I'll watch one that I've already seen. And it works out because there's a lot of sign language, as it turns out, in the Apes movies. I will say, you got to cut out one of these adjectives. You can't have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
You got to Dawn of the Apes, War of the Apes.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, you can't do this. Whatever this is.
The titles did lack.
The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's word
Not
salad.
good. Not good. I know the titles came from the 60s. I don't care. As Tommy Lee Jones famously said, I don't care.
Or just call it like Planet of the Apes Origins or something like that.
Something.
Simple.
Yeah. I've been watching Community.
Oh, I love that show.
I love Community. It's so
great.
Good. It's fucking hilarious.
Especially knowing the backstory of all the crap that was going on with Chevy Chase and
there was
Glover
so
and
much
that.
going on with everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a great documentary made at some point about Community where Dan Harmon either is or isn't going to be involved in the making of it.
Yeah.
Because it's so strange and fascinating as a thing to watch because it's hilarious.
Oh, it's so
and it's so
funny.
Subversive.
Yep.
And all the things that everybody has already said about Community. If you haven't watched Community, you're doing yourself a disservice.
So good.
It's fucking excellent and hilarious and smart and the antithesis of the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Basically, whereas the Big Bang Theory tries to be funny while mocking nerds and people with special needs, this actually understands those worlds.
This is, I put this one in the same realm as like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're just two groups of people having just the funniest shit happening.
But it's like, it's amazing because when you watch it, one of the subversive elements is them talking about how they're almost always going to be canceled.
Yeah.
Especially once you get to season 4, like the end of season 3, and then once you're into season 4, anybody who doesn't know, there was a lot of drama around a lot of things.
Yes.
You had Chevy Chase is playing a misogynistic baby boomer, basically being himself.
Yeah.
And you find out that he was almost exactly that person off camera too.
Hated everything about it.
And not only that, everybody hated working with him. He was just a terrible person to work with.
And the sad part is this would have been his career resurgence because he was awesome in it.
He was great in it.
He was fucking hysterical.
Yeah. But like everybody hated working with him. He hated working on it. And so by season 4, they're just writing him out of the plot. There's just entire episodes where Pierce is just gone.
Yeah.
And there's an explanation, but not like a good explanation. Pierce is off giving a kidney.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
I
feel like that would be a big deal, but I guess not. But then again, that's the gas leak year, where season 4, everything just went crazy because that was when Dan Harmon also had to step away because of issues between him and NBC, and I also believe possibly between him and some interns.
Yeah.
I seem to remember Dan Harmon, not a great guy. As funny as he might be, he has a very racy track record.
Yeah.
But that's why you hang your hat on the fact that the Russo brothers are co-producers and they made the show what it is.
Yeah.
Because Dan Harmon doesn't know how to actually tell a story. And so the Russos come in and give it structure and style and understanding and panache and auteurism. And like, it is a bundle of joy.
That's so much fun.
I love watching this show.
I've always loved Joel McHale too. And so seeing him as this lead, almost like a Van Wilder type character, and he's just so great.
Yeah.
He's so fucking funny.
It's a great show. Definitely check it out if you haven't. And then I have 2 more. Fall Guy. I finally watched Fall Guy.
Oh, you did? How was it?
Very good. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I think the writing is definitely like the third thing on the list of reasons to watch this movie. The first reason you watch this movie is for the stunt work.
Okay.
It's a movie about a stuntman that pays homage deeply to stuntmen.
Yeah.
And I love it for that. That was the best part. The second reason to watch it is Ryan Gosling and the performances in general are really, really good. But Ryan Gosling especially is terrific in the entire thing. It does kind of get a little in its own ass sometimes.
Okay.
There's a falling out between characters, and they finally get to why, but the entire time you're like, but like, he has a pretty good reason why he walked away. I don't really disagree with him. And in fact, I kind of disagree with her for not doing more to be a part of all of this.
I gotcha.
But that said, I did enjoy it quite a lot. I thought it was really fun. It was just an excellent, fun romp. We talked about dollar theater movies. This is a dollar theater movie.
Okay.
Where all the problems with the plot and the writing disappear because you only paid $2 to watch it.
Okay.
So, a lot of fun.
I'll have to rent it.
Definitely like that. It's on Peacock. The extended cut is on Peacock now.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it.
So that's where I watched it. And then I did want to mention really quick, a shout out to my brothers, my two brothers from my sauce brothers, as we say. My pizza night brothers, John and Austin, are in a band called Different People, all one word. Look it up. They just released an EP, and it is excellent. Revisionist History is the name of the EP, and it's very good. It's pop punk, and I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Nice.
So I did want to just give them a quick shout out because I've been listening to that a fuck ton.
Nice.
We're going to talk about some trailers really quick, and then we're going to get into
Oh, and
the
potential for next week. I haven't watched it yet, but I did get the 4K of Furiosa.
Nice.
So I will upload the digital. Maybe that could be a next week thing.
Yeah. So let's start with Minecraft, which just dropped like as we were starting the show.
Yeah. I mean, my son will love it. I think this is going to be in the vein of like Mario Brothers movie, where if you play Minecraft and you're a kid, you're going to fucking eat it up.
Yeah.
But
I
know enough where I know who Steve is, and Jack Black as Steve as like an older version of the character.
It's interesting that they just were like, just come to set. You don't even have to go through hair and makeup. Like, just come to set.
I hope Jason Momoa went through hair. I hope that's not just real hair.
This is my thing.
Terrible.
You made Jason Momoa look so terrible, and I don't know why.
See, the thing that would excite me about this is so the trailer, for those of you who have not seen it, it kind of opens. You're in the digital world of Minecraft, and a portal opens up, and 4 humans walk in. Mm-hmm. My son and I, since he's a massive Minecraft fan, I've read him books, but they're Minecraft books where kids put on virtual reality glasses and they're in the world of Minecraft, but they're themselves in Minecraft.
Yeah.
This kind of reminded me of that, and I'm assuming that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see why these people are in Minecraft, what's going on.
It's weird that this and Mario have almost the exact same inciting incident of outsiders from another world wander into a video game universe, and funny chaos ensues.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this looks fine enough. I don't have anything for Minecraft, so I can't check them on any standards or anything. This looks fine enough.
Yeah, looks okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll see it in the theater because my son will lose his shit.
The thing I find most interesting is that Jack Black is Jack Black and not like a pixelated square person.
Which I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Because I do have a deep love for Jack Black.
Yeah.
And to see him playing this character but looking with the big beard and all that, it's like, okay, this could be interesting.
This could be interesting.
Yeah.
It has big Jumanji, Robin Williams and Jumanji vibes. The original Jumanji.
Yeah.
It is also funny that Jack Black has kind of become synonymous with kids' video game movies.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting that happened. Speaking of kids' video game movies, Sonic 3 is coming out.
Yes.
Now, I don't have any love lost for the Sonic movies. I still make fun of them for Ugly Sonic. I mean, how could I not?
And I'm still grateful, and no one talks about it anymore, the Chip and Dale movie that has the Ugly Sonic in it. It's like, that's so great.
So, but I have to commend them. The one thing I do have to give them credit for, they have been able to pump out these movies in a fairly quick manner. They've had now 3 movies and a series in about 4 years. That's very impressive.
And I know I'm saying this from a parent's perspective. They're great kid movies.
Yeah.
And the show, they're just great for kids. And they're good enough for adults where, I mean, Sonic didn't really have a ton of lore to rest on. And it's, it's goofy, stupid fun. And Jim Carrey being Eggman and all that, and it's the only thing he's doing now is being Eggman. Yeah. He's not doing any other movies. He's not doing anything else. And it's entertaining. Yeah. It is. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It is still funny to me that they got it right, I think, in my opinion. Listen, I love Ben Schwartz. I think Ben Schwartz is hilarious. I think he's a great Sonic because most people, if you said Ben Schwartz, you'd have to give them like 2 or 3 references before they'd be like, oh, yeah, that guy. I can't get over Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves. I can't do it. It's when Knuckles turns to Sonic and says, actually, I want to fight, I was like, I can't laugh. I need to hold face, but holy shit.
Well, that's the thing is I think, like, I didn't know what to think of him after Sonic 2, but then after watching the Knuckles series, I got not only used to Idris Elba as that character, I started to love him as that character.
Yeah.
So seeing this now, I have that different perspective where I watched that series, and you're like, oh, okay, it's fucking Idris Elba. And I fucking love Idris Elba.
No, exactly.
He could read the dictionary, and I'd fucking watch it.
It's just so funny to me because Sonic is synonymous to me with just stuff not working.
Yeah.
Like just games that don't work and weird fetishist porn.
Oh my god.
Like just that's what Sonic is to me. So the idea of this movie now being led by Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves, who I would watch in any movie. Yeah. I would watch them fight. I would watch them do Shakespeare. I would watch them in any movie together. So it's just the funniest thing to me. But like I said, the thing I have the most admiration for, they can pump these things out, and they don't seem to be losing quality.
No?
Which is the most surprising.
And it's amazing no one talks about it when you still hear people saying they haven't made successful or good video game adaptations. Yeah. It's like, Sonic kind of is. I mean, you have this character, and they're good movies. Like they get a lot right in the movies for putting Sonic on Earth. It's like they were able to figure it out to make it where it's like, okay, the character models now look great. Tails looks great. Knuckles, like, they did a great job with the character models. Like,
I want to see someone come out with ugly versions of all the characters, how they would have looked if they kept to the original design style.
But see, you watch this now, and it's hard to believe that ever existed.
I know!
It really is.
But we were watching it, and there's this line in the trailer where James Marsden is giving Sonic a pep talk, and he's like, it's about who you are in here. And I'm like, as opposed to out here. Where everything has changed.
Oh, my God.
So that's happening.
Now the big one.
The one that I am more excited for than I think any trailer we've talked about maybe ever on this show.
Yes.
Like, for serious, Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim looks spectacular.
Yes.
Like, how people wanted to feel about Rings of Power is how I feel about this.
Yes.
This looks so good. I've watched it 5 or 6 times. In English and in Japanese trailers. It looks spectacular.
This is going to be that type of movie that when we see it, everything that came out this year before it is going to not matter.
I don't know how this isn't going to be my favorite movie of the year.
I haven't had good.
I haven't had a movie that slapped my pants off. I guess Deadpool and Wolverine is as close to that as possible, but I still have so much tied up in that. That's kind of like last year when I said my favorite movie was Across the Spider-Verse. I was like, yeah, and I have reasons and rationale, but also at the same time, it seems kind of silly to say that. This
looks amazing.
This is art.
And it's fantastic that they're going animated.
Yeah.
I wish they would do that, especially now that Ian McKellen potentially is coming back as Gandalf in The Hunt for Gollum. It's like, dude, fucking animated. Yeah. Like, I hope this is successful because this is what, and I mentioned this before, you and I have been talking about with the DC animated movies, putting them in theaters.
Yeah.
If this is successful, it's like, there you go.
Yeah.
An adult-driven animated movie is a success. Fucking put out more shit.
Do it. Do more of it.
Please.
Do all of it.
Please.
Like, this is what we were talking about or hinting at with Harry Potter, is that if Harry Potter was done like this, like Castlevania, where it's like 12 episodes to tell the whole story, you could get it done.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about the kids aging up because it's fucking animated.
Because it's fucking animated.
Yeah.
So you just hire adult voice actors. Like, I look at this, the scenes with the animals and monsters especially, just put me on my ass. Like, I can't get over that shot of her with the eagle takes my breath away every time I see it.
And for those of you who have not seen this, but you have seen the Castlevania Netflix series, the animation is spot on exactly.
It's very similar.
Very similar.
Very
and
similar
so that's even more exciting.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. Yeah. And not only that, they recreated the world of the Jackson movies in a more effective way than anything Rings of Power has done.
Oh, by fucking... We're not even going to talk about that fucking trailer.
Oh, man.
And the reviews that have been coming out on that already.
We're going to cover it. We're just not covering it yet. But no, I look at this, and it is just one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
I can't fucking wait.
so excited. I saw this great, not synopsis, nutshell, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Of why Rings of Power feels different than Lord of the Rings. And it was, someone said, Rings of Power is entertainment. Lord of the Rings is art. Mm-hmm. This is art. This doesn't look like it's just for entertainment, just for money, just for the sake of doing it. This looks like fucking art. And I am so pumped.
The only negative. Okay. So in November is Wicked.
Yeah.
In December we have Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
This. I have to take my son to see Sonic 3. It's like I'm going to be broke. They're doing the re-release of Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I believe in December, which I want to fucking go see in the theater. It's like...
I know. They're going to get us. They're going to get us at the end of the year.
We're going to have to do a watch and review each week.
It's going to be, we're going to fuck off Christmas. We're just going to do watch and reviews all December long.
We have to do this in the theater.
Oh, 100%.
And we have to do Nosferatu. So those two, to me, for the remainder of this year, are the two that has to happen.
I know we're going to at least do those two.
Has to.
I'm sure if I had a list in front of me, I could find 2 or 3 more.
Well, I once again, and they put out a new music video for the Devara Part 1. Mm-hmm. Still no idea when it's going to come out in America.
Yeah.
But like this new fucking music video they put out with Beam doing a dance song and dance, it looks fucking awesome. And I'm like, God damn it, I want to see a fucking movie.
Yeah, I know.
And then
I know.
Bullshit. Okay.
I know.
All right, whatever.
It's good. So we're going to get into the NFL. Baby.
NFL. All right. So this is kind of what we did last year. I'm thinking we stay along where we're just going to go through the AFC, go through the NFC, and then say who's going to win that division, who's going to win the conference, who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Do you want to start with our babies, or do you want to start?
I think we should start AFC, and I think we should start AFC East.
I was about to say, our babies are going into very different directions at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, there was hype for Chicago. This year, there's hype
there's
for Chicago.
Fucking people saying they could go to the Super Bowl kind of hype, and I'm like, pump your
brakes.
This is Chicago.
Yeah, so there's only one place to start. Everybody starts with the Bills because they're alphabetically the first team if you start in the AFC East.
So, AFC East, and what I did is I typed up all the teams, and I went through each week, and I decided who would win, who would lose in each game, and that gave me the final tallies.
Wow.
Well, I really wanted to make this. So, AFC East. You should start with this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a troubling one for me.
Yeah.
Because everybody who watches this show knows I love the Bills. I fucking love the Bills. I can't get enough of the Bills. I've been a Bills fan forever. I talked about it earlier on the show. This offseason has been rough.
Oh, it's been very rough.
It's been rough. And there's just been cuts and releases all over the place, especially on defense. And I believe I've talked about this on the show before because I've lost my mind around the NFL draft because they started trading down and trading with the Chiefs and doing all these terrible things. I don't know how we're going to be more than an 8-win team. I just don't see it.
I have them 9-8, so I'm there with you.
Because I think we're going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Because the options are all of the rookies and limited replacements that we've brought in to fill all these gaps on defense are amazing, and the defense doesn't lose a step, or the more realistic thing, the defense takes a giant step back because we have all these holes in it now. We don't have any safeties.
Yeah.
We have Taylor Rapp, which is fine. We had to move Taron Johnson to corner because we didn't have enough corners. Like, we have nobody in the back end.
Well, and I'm shocked that more teams haven't looked at the Bills as a warning sign with these quarterback contracts. Because the reason why they had to get rid of so many people is this is the year that Josh Allen's his contract kicks in.
Yeah.
With this like $54 million or something a year.
Oh, but we could renegotiate with Von Miller.
Yeah.
It makes me
How is he still on the
crazy.
fucking team?
How did we get rid of Trey White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, but we kept Von Miller?
Yeah. Unless his contract is so fucked up.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. What did he do for us last year? I know he was coming off injury. He was coming off injury all year. All year, everybody was talking about, oh, how much is Vaughn going to play? Oh, how much is Vaughn going to play? Apparently very little. Extremely little. And then off the field problems on top of it. With a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
So no. Get him out of here. Send him to Arizona. I don't fucking care. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
I'm done with him. So I would have rather kept any of the guys that have been battling injuries for years. I would have kept Dane Jackson, Saran Neal over fucking Von Miller. You know, I'm just...
Yeah, no,
The Bills were always struggling without their defense.
Yep.
Their offense never won them games. Their defense always won them games. Anytime they were in a game, it was because the defense was overperforming. Now we have no defense.
Yep. And you have no weapons on offense.
And we have very few weapons on offense because the guys that we brought in to replace Steph Diggs, who was being an awful piece of shit last year, are either injured or so new that nobody knows if they're going to be any good.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting here like, buckle in, Bills fans, because this is a 9-8 year, and it's going to be the Dolphins and the Jets that overtake you.
And that's the thing is, I want to preface all of these things I'm going to say on this list. 1,000% do not count in injury. Because I agree with you. But we saw what happened last year when Tyreek Hill got hurt. We saw what happened when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. So it's like, I agree with you. I have the Jets at 16-1.
Wow, really?
Winning that because their team is so good, defensively and offensively. But they need Aaron Rodgers to stay healthy, and they need the running backs to stay healthy.
Yeah.
That is the big thing.
Yeah.
I have the Dolphins 13-4 in the playoffs. I have the Patriots 0-17. I think they're going to not win a game. I think that would
be amazing.
I don't think they're going to win a game.
I think it would be so fucking great.
I looked at their schedule and teams they're playing. Their home games are tough.
Yeah.
And their away games aren't as tough. Like, the teams aren't as good, but they're still better than the Patriots.
Yeah. We're playing, as a division, we're playing the West and the South.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
That's very tough.
That's very tough. We're lucky we don't have the AFC North and the NFC West, which might be the two toughest division in the league right now.
See, I'm curious with the West.
Yeah.
The AFC West. The East, right now, on paper, could have, I think, still just those two playoff teams, the Jets and the Dolphins. I don't think the Bills are going to make playoffs. The thing I'm most afraid of is they're going to put too much effort or emphasis on Josh Allen. He's going to get hurt.
I'm worried that, if Josh gets hurt, as long as it's not like, it can be a season-ending injury, but not a career-ending injury or a career-altering injury. I'm okay with tanking this year.
Yeah, because you'll be leaning on Mitch Trubisky, so you will be tanking.
Exactly. So I'm okay with it because we need defensive help. And say what you will about the Bills brass, they draft pretty well.
Yes.
Tyrell Bernard just got promoted to captain when Matt Milano went out because of course Matt Milano's out.
Of course he did.
And I feel so bad for that guy.
I do feel bad for him too. He's like that guy on Dallas, the linebacker.
Oh, Van Der Esch.
Van Der Esch. It's like, dude, he's always fucking hurt.
And he's so good, but when he's injured, he's just injured.
Yeah.
And he's injured all the time.
Yep.
And so, like, We still have some great guys on defense. We got AJ Epinesa. We got Terrell Bernard. Daquan Jones is a tackle. We got weapons, right? We're not without weapons, but we lost Floyd. Leonard Floyd was an enormous part of our defensive success last year. So, and we have no secondary. So if anybody overtakes us, I hope it's the Jets, because they're the only more suffering team than we have been.
Yes.
And I will never hope for good things for the Dolphins.
I never will either, because they're the only team that beat the 85 Bears.
Yeah, so like I can tolerate the Jets being good, even though I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I can't tolerate the Dolphins being good, but I think they're going to be very good. I think that they're going to win the division. I think the Jets could get...
See, the only reason I don't have them doing that, they have some very tough cold weather road games in December. That's where I think, because once again, they proved they just can't play in cold weather.
No, they will never be able to get over that. Cleveland and New York, that's rough.
Yeah.
And right at the end of the year, and Green Bay.
So I saw those, I was like, I don't think they're winning any of those games.
Yeah.
Because they're against good teams in the cold.
Yeah, I still think the Dolphins have a better chance just because I think they're a more cohesive team. The Jets' defense is better than the Dolphins' defense, but the Dolphins' offense is so fully different than anything the Jets could hope for. Like the Jets are really hoping that like 6 or 7 lines don't fall down over the course of the season. And if any one of those lines falls down, they're in deep trouble. I don't think the same is true of the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins could have a few things go wrong and still be able to scratch out a good season.
See, I'm just worried after seeing the Tyreek Hill thing last year. Yeah. Like what happened to that team once he got hurt. And it's like, that could happen again. And once again, I'm not basing anything on injury. I still have them a 13-4 playoff team.
Yeah. See, I would put them at 13-4. I think I would put the Jets at, I would say like 10-7. I just don't think the Jets are going to get more than 10 wins just because they're the Jets. You know, it's like how I could expect the Mets to continue to keep on this rise that they've been on through the postseason, but I don't because it's the Mets. And not enough people are doing cocaine on their team to be that successful.
Damn it, Strawberry, come back. So so you have the Dolphins winning that division.
I have the Dolphins winning that division.
So let's go to the NFC North.
Okay.
To me, this is the best division in the NFC. Except for the Steelers.
Yeah. Wait, the NFC or the AFC North?
AFC North.
AFC
North. So I have the Ravens finishing 14-3 and winning the division. But then I have the Bengals and the Browns both at 13-4 because their schedules line up pretty well. And I have the Steelers at 2-15.
See, I think the Steelers are going to be better than that. I don't know that they're going to get more than their standard 9 wins that they're used to getting.
See, what I'm worried, and I see what would happen with them, is they're going to have that back and forth with the 2 quarterbacks all year.
I wonder seriously if that's what's going to happen. Apparently a lot of people have been like, oh yeah, this makes sense. I don't get this. The idea of trading I get it. You paid nothing for Justin Fields and you're paying nothing for Russell Wilson. If one fails, you have the other one. I don't get this.
Yeah.
I don't get this. These are 2 guys that are going to want to run everything, that are very controversial in their own right, not because of like their attitude or anything, although some people would say that about Justin Fields. I don't think so, but that's just because I don't believe in Bears coaching. I don't know, man. I think the Steelers could be good, but I don't think they're going to be more than a 9-win team at most. I think it's more of an 8-loss team than a 9-win team.
I see what you're saying.
But the Bengals and Browns that's tricky.
See, the Bengals, once again, all rides on Burrow staying healthy.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened more than, one season he played 16 games? And it's like,
Yeah, no, it's a big if.
Because they did have Chase reported to camp today, so he is practicing leading up to the game, the first game, which he's either going to be playing pissed off and not do good, or be playing so good so he says trade me at the end of the season since they haven't paid him.
Yeah, well, they have a bunch of people that need to get paid.
Yeah, but he's the big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I always have questions about Bengals defense.
Yes.
Because I don't know any of them. I can't point to any one of them and be like, oh yeah, he's going to wreck the game. He's going to change things. But that doesn't mean that they can't.
Yeah.
I just don't know them, so I don't have faith in them. But what I have less faith in is Deshaun Watson. I
have no faith in him.
I
Their
just look at
defense
the
is just
Browns.
so good.
Their defense is great.
It's great defense.
But I just look at the Browns and I just really wonder. Because, yes, they made it to the playoffs with Joe Flacco because that defense was so good. But I just wonder. I just wonder. And now, if Deshaun goes down, do you have somebody that can keep the boat afloat?
And I got to say, he's one of the top players I root against.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because, I want to see him do
hard
so
and heavy.
bad.
Hard and heavy, baby. Just the way he likes it.
Massage.
I would still give this division to the Ravens. I might call them a 15-2 team, honestly. I think that if they get on a roll, they can roll.
They can, but once again, what's going to happen in the postseason with them?
Exactly.
That's the question.
That's the big question.
Yeah.
Is it's not a question of how well will they perform in the regular season. It's a question of will that mean anything by the second week of January.
Yeah, that means shit. All right, so now the AFC South. This is a bad division to me.
This is I would agree with you on that.
Except for the Texans. I have them 15-2
Texans are going to be good,
winning the division.
I could see. I don't know that I'm going to put them at 15-2 just because I don't trust Steph Diggs not to be a fucking cancer on that team, especially with young talent around him.
Yeah, but he's being the third wide receiver.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that'll knock him down a bit.
Captain Hands of Stone over here.
Exactly.
No, I think that the Texans are going to be great. I would put them at probably like 13-4.
Okay.
And they're definitely going to win that division.
Oh, absolutely.
No doubt. Because I don't have faith in the Jaguars.
No, I have them a 7-10 team.
I just don't know where they're going to get it.
No.
Because they just don't show it to me.
And they gave all that money to Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't done dick.
He hasn't done anything.
He looks like shit, actually.
He hasn't resolved any of his fumbling issues. He hasn't had hasn't figured out any of the problems that he has with reading defenses.
Yep.
He doesn't exactly pick things apart like Tom Brady. So I don't know. I just don't have faith in them. I also don't know, as much as I love Peterson, I just don't know that this is a group of guys that are going to be great.
Yeah.
They picked up a lot of bills. Cast-offs went to fucking Jaguars, so like good luck. But at the same time,
the Texans got potentially the two good ones being Diggs and Kincaid, which I forgot that he fucking went to the Texans.
Wait, Kincaid?
Is it Kincaid or Knox? One of the...
I
thought it was Kincaid.
I'm gonna look that up because if we lost either of them, I'd be very upset.
No, you did, because I drafted him in a fantasy football league. I want to say it was Kincaid.
It can't be Kincaid. We just got him.
It must be Knox then.
Current team Buffalo Bills.
Oh,
He's
no,
still listed as a Bills.
Dalton Schultz. I have the wrong person.
Oh yeah, no, Dalton Schultz isn't one of ours.
I got the wrong person.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
My bad.
You scared me.
I know, I'm sorry.
I was like, we can't get rid of both of them.
I'm really tired right now.
All right. Anyway, the good news is that if you're a Bills fan, the Titans are probably going to be pretty trash this year.
I have them 2-15.
Some people think that they're going to be a quiet sleeper team because they got some defensive weapons, but
their whole identity was two people.
Yeah.
And both of them are gone.
Of them are gone.
It's like, dude.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry was that team forever, and so was Vrabel.
Without
the two of them?
You're going to replace Derrick Henry's production with Tony Pollard?
Nope.
I love Tony Pollard. He is not King Henry.
Fuck no.
Not even kind
of.
The
only reason Henry got the yards he got was because their offensive line and their quarterback was so bad he needed to fucking be Superman.
And I don't know who the fuck their coach is at this point anymore. And I don't see them being somebody that's going to make a huge difference. So I definitely don't see the Titans being great, which makes me happy.
Yeah. And I put the Colts 6-11, kind of same as the Jags, where I don't think they're going to be bad. I don't think they're going to be great.
My thing with the Colts is just that I don't trust their quarterback
to be healthy.
Anthony Richardson. I don't think that you're going to get all 16 games out of him.
Because it was really 17 games.
17 games.
Because it was only 3 games that he looked great, and
then he got injured in the fourth game.
How do you know he's going to? It's just too many questions.
I've seen this before so many times.
Yep.
So I don't think the Titans are going to be very good. I don't think the Colts are going to be bad, but I don't think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be like a 7 or 8 win team at most. So that brings us to the West.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the layup, or do you want to talk about the other 3 teams?
This is kind of my haterade.
Yeah.
But I was being objective when I was looking at the games. And I know this is the only team that I took potential injury into account. I still think if Mahomes doesn't have Travis Henry as his security blanket, like we saw in the first game last year,
Yeah.
it is a much different team.
So if he goes down,
So I still have them 10-7, the Chiefs, but I have them not making the playoffs. I have the Chargers at 13-4. The reason the Chargers, I looked at their schedule. They have a very favorable schedule. Some of their tougher games are at home. And I have a lot of faith in Harbaugh.
my thing is that LA doesn't really have home games.
Well, yeah.
They have quote unquote home games.
I think that could potentially change with the Harbaugh effect.
Yeah.
Because now they have a superstar coach that people are going to want to come to the games and be Charger fans.
Yeah. We'll see. The other thing is that they don't have a lot of assets around them because they lost Eckler, they lost Allen,
Yep.
they lost Mike Williams. And I'm looking at their roster right now. They pretty much have a bunch of nobodies at wide receiver and the cast-offs from the Ravens the last few years who have gotten injured.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. That's their whole
See,
thing.
I'm basing a lot of it on I have such memories of when Harbaugh was with the Niners.
Yeah.
And it was the same kind of thing. Like he took Kaepernick that no one thought would do shit and made him into
It's true.
a almost Super Bowl winning quarterback if the lights didn't go out.
For all we know, Lad McConkey is going to be the big name of the year.
You don't know. Like that's the thing. I just have faith in Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And I do think there will be that. You know, I mean, to say the Chiefs are 10-7, that's still a good record in the NFL. It's not great, especially for a two-time Super Bowl champion. But it is going to be, because if you remember when the Patriots, they still made it to the conference championship game, I believe. But they had their seasons where they just didn't look the same, but then they picked it up at the end.
Oh, that was always I had to watch them do that so many years. Everybody was like, oh, this is the end of the Patriots. This is the end of the Patriots. And then they run.
They crank it on. I just don't think because I think the Broncos are going to be better. I have them 9-8. I don't think they're going to be great.
You're crazy.
No. I don't think they're going to be great. I think they're going to be better because I think the big problem last year, if you look at their record with all of the distractions and all the shit going on, it wasn't far off from 9-8. I think they were a 7-win team last year, right?
I think so. I think that maybe 5 to 7.
Getting the Russell Wilson out of there, getting all of the distraction out of there. There's not going to be this weekly discussion of the Broncos like it was last year. Anyone could talk about was the Broncos. What's going on with Russell Wilson? And what's going on with Sean Payton? Blah 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 blah.
I don't know.
That's all gone.
I don't know. I think that could easily come right back in the door.
I don't, and I have faith because they have a solid rookie quarterback now.
See, I don't know anything about Bo Nix, but he to me reeks of fucking Drew Lock, Brock Osweiler.
See, I was thinking more J.J. McCarthy before he got hurt. Reeked of those guys. I don't know, but once again, I 9-8 isn't a playoff team.
Yeah,
it's a few games better than last year. I think the Raiders are going to be 2-15, so that's going to be the worst.
See,
team
I want
to
see the Raiders do well.
I want to see them do well. I just don't think that they will because their quarterback situation is even worse.
Their quarterbacks. See, here's the thing. I would agree with you. But Gardner Minshew sometimes goes fucking off.
He does until
right
expectations get on him.
Well, and in the right system, I think he could be really good. And I don't know. I think that this could be good. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to make the playoffs, but I like their chances better than the Broncos.
See, I think neither one of them are going to sniff the playoffs.
I think the Broncos are going to be a 4-win team.
Okay.
I think the Raiders are going to be an 8 to 10-win team.
Okay, so we're pretty much just swapping
Yeah.
those guys. But I have the Chargers winning that division.
I think the Chargers could, but I've watched them Charger for so long that I have a hard time actually believing in them, that they're going to get it done. Instead, I end up looking at them and being like, and how are you going to blow this one?
Yeah.
So the Chargers, if they can get everything to line up and if Harbaugh really does put the spark of God in them like he did with the Niners, they could get to like 9-10 wins. with the Chiefs there, the Chiefs seem like they got stronger, not weaker. And I know,
I just can't bring myself.
I just got to be a realist. I after watching Brady all these years, I just have to be a realist at some point. And I just think the Chiefs are going to take a step up, and they already were pretty good to begin with. You may have heard of them.
See, I think the big difference between the Mahomes and Brady comparison is Brady it was going against Manning.
Mm-hmm.
There were good defenses because he was going against the Ravens defense. Bills defense was still good. No team had another quarterback to give them fits.
There was a period there where we thought Phillip Rivers was going to be it.
I always saw him as just a big mouth who was
had
good but not great.
They had that season in the mid-2000s, I think 2005, where they were just
that was more
outstanding.
LT. To me, that was more LT.
But that was still success.
Yes.
And they still played the Patriots and lost. I still remember watching them lose because of fucking Nate Kading.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But those years, I would watch I would look at the season and be like, I can see the Patriots winning every game.
Yeah.
They had that aura. To me, looking at this AFC now, I can't say the Chiefs. I would not bet money on them to beat the Jets, or the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, the Texans, and the Chargers at away games. Home games, they would have difficulty with teams like the Ravens and the Browns, just defensively wise. But I think, that's the thing, is they don't have that aura.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And the Mahomes thing, and once again, it's not that I don't like him. I just hate the fact that people are calling him the greatest ever. It's like, dude, pump your fucking brakes.
Yeah.
Okay. He's had ridiculous success because he fell into, without a doubt, the best situation a fucking quarterback could fall into.
Yeah.
I would even put that ahead of what Caleb Williams fell into, because Caleb Williams is starting as a rookie. Mahomes got to sit behind a guy who led his team to the conference championship that year with the best offensive, quite possibly the best offensive head coach ever, with 2 Hall of Fame players in their early prime.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you better be
pump
successful.
the fucking brakes, okay? It's it's a little different.
Yeah.
And the defenses, it's like, this is not the same as when, even go back to Montana, Marino, and all of them, you could still literally take their heads off. Even Brady, there's that great Bills clip where the Bills player literally knocked his helmet. He just jumps up and is like, all right, let's fucking go. And it's like, dude, Mahomes would cry like a baby and pull out his Kermit voice and yell at the ref.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the big difference to me. It's like, the league is different. I can't.
The league is different, but it also rewards this for success.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that they're going to find more success. I also think they have the Taylor Swift bump. The NFL wants to see them be successful.
I am going to ride the Simone Biles bump the Chicago Bears are going to have because her husband plays defense for the Bears now.
Hell yeah.
It's like, she's a fucking gold medalist, okay? I know Taylor's a great singer.
Actual athlete.
She's an actual athlete and a gold medalist.
No, I do see the Chiefs winning this, but I hope that the Raiders can give them a run for their money, because I like Antonio Pierce, and I kind of like the attitude that the Raiders are bringing into this season.
I do like Antonio Pierce. No, I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
So for me, the playoff teams are the Jets, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, the Texans, and the Chargers. And I have the Jets winning and going to the Super Bowl.
I would put the Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens, and Texans are all your division winners. I would say after that, I like Bengals and Browns. I think that's probably true. I just don't believe in the Jets. I just don't. I could be totally wrong, but I just don't believe in them. So I'm going to say the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars over the Raiders or Chargers would probably have an easier time just because of division stuff. So I would say that. That would be mine.
Okay. And who's going to the Super Bowl?
Of that group, it's either Ravens or Chiefs, and I don't have reason to believe in the Ravens, and I do have reason to believe in the Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl again.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the NFC.
Yes.
So let's start with the NFC East.
Oh boy, where do you want to start? With the good or the very bad?
So I have the Eagles winning the division 12-5.
Yep, I agree with that.
Dallas 10-7 making the playoffs.
They could, but I think once they start running out of players, and they're going to run out of players, once the injuries start hitting, that's another thing, is that the Jets have to play 8 games at MetLife.
Well, that's true, too. But see, the Cowboys, they're such a good home team that I see all of their home games as being wins. And then they have some road games like against the Giants and the Commanders. It's like, man, the Giants are going to be so
The Giants are going to be trash.
They're 2-15.
Easily.
I have them.
Easily.
And the
Brian
Commanders
Daboll's
7-10. I make them...
not
great. New owners, new coach, new quarterback, new everything.
I think 6-11. I would say for Washington. I agree with you. 2-15. I think Daboll might be fired at the end of the season, but that's not his fault.
No,
it's because they stuck with Daniel Jones because they couldn't get any of the guys that they wanted. And I'm just looking at it like you had Justin Fields and Russell Wilson out on the market.
Yep.
And you didn't take either of them, and then you couldn't trade into the top 3 to get any of the quarterbacks you wanted.
Yep.
So you're just sticking with Danny Dimes? Are you serious?
Who looks so bad in the preseason?
He looks terrible.
He's just not good.
Name one game where he has looked good the entire game since that second game he played ever.
Yeah.
Like, he just hasn't looked good his entire career. He always looks outmatched. He always looks like he's in a panic. He always looks like he's about to fall over.
Yep.
And
you're going to replace him if he goes down with Tommy DeVito?
Really? You're going to ride that again?
Nope.
Hope that gets the hot hand?
Not going to happen, man.
Just
Giants
have more cuts to the stands to see the DeVito family.
Oh, my God. And his fucking agent that looks like Sopranos cast off.
But, it's definitely the Eagles. To me, the Eagles are definitely going to win this division. They got Saquon. If
Saquon is the big...
Because, now he doesn't have to be the bell cow.
Yep.
He can just be one of the many cogs in the team.
Yep.
And I think that they can really do some damage with that.
Agree.
Saquon, Jalen Hurts, and A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me?
That's a solid offense.
Wow.
And, everyone's saying about Kelsey retiring, which does suck, but I just have faith that they're going to be able to put somebody in there to just continue.
They're good at scouting talent.
Yep.
They have a very good eye for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Dallas is the one to me that I just don't know what to make of them. Because on the one hand, Dallas can get hot at any time. On the other hand, they're going to have to keep dealing with all-in-season garbage and Jerry Jones saying dumb shit and what's Dak's contract going to be at the end of the year. They got CeeDee Lamb on contract, so that worked out. But, I don't know. I think Dallas and Buffalo could be in the exact same boat this year of everything's fine, ignore all the holes, everything's fine, we're going to figure it out.
Of every team in the NFL, because of the owner, I would love to see the Cowboys go 0-17.
Yeah.
Just because Jerry Jones is such a fucking idiot. He's got to stop.
Did you hear that Mark Davis might sell the Raiders?
No.
That's crazy to me. There's undercurrents running through the NFL that Mark Davis might sell the Raiders.
That's fucking weird.
That's nuts.
So I'm wondering if Brady, because he was trying to get part ownership under the Davis group.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
So we'll see.
That's fucking weird.
We'll see. Right. The South, interesting group.
NFC South. I gotta go with Baker. 10-7 Bucks. Same record as the Falcons. 10-7.
I'm just gonna go chalk from last year because I think the entire division is gonna be a trash pile again.
Oh, yeah. The Saints and Panthers are easily 2 of the worst teams in the NFL.
The Panthers are going to be awful again.
Terrible.
Awful again.
Terrible.
They might be awful until David Tepper sells the team.
Oh, yeah.
We have as soon as we got rid of old racist Daniel Snyder, we brought in David Tepper instead. Fucking captain, I'm going to take people's hats off and make a big stink.
Throw drinks at people and stuff.
So, they're going to be terrible.
They're going to be
horrible. Absolutely trash.
So are the Saints. They're just garbage.
The Saints, I don't know why they've stuck with Dennis, whatever his name is.
Allen.
Yeah. I don't get it. Sean Payton is back in the league, and you're still sticking with Dennis Allen. I don't get it. So I don't have any reason not to pick Baker. Of all the teams in this division, they make the most sense. I don't believe in the Falcons because why would I?
The only thing with the Falcons is they finally got a quarterback. And it's
Well, now they have two.
Well, they have two, yeah. But they finally have a competent quarterback with some really good weapons. So I think they can put up a little bit of some noise.
Well, you know what that means.
What?
They have a really good quarterback and some weapons and some hope, which means that Kirk Cousins is going to break his clavicle in week 2.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. He's going to get Nick Foles. So many quarterbacks before him
Yep.
that are like, this was the piece. This was the piece we were missing.
Which, for Penix's sake, I hope that happens because Cousins has made more than enough money in his career that he can retire right now and his kids won't have to ever work. But Penix, the poor 24-year-old, is sitting there like, I really want to play football.
I don't know how Kirk Cousins has I don't know what his agent does. I don't know what magic spells he does. Because every contract Kirk Cousins has ever had is a guaranteed contract. He sold his soul to a witch or something, I swear, because Kyle Shanahan and everybody that's ever worked under him loves him, and he has had only guaranteed contracts since he left Washington. He did like 3 straight franchise tags, and then has only ever had guaranteed cash the entire rest of his career.
Big guaranteed cash.
And not for nothing, I don't think Kirk Cousins is great.
No,
I think he's exceptionally mid.
He's a solid regular season quarterback.
Yeah.
He will get you 10 wins. But then the second you get a playoff or get sniffing of it, he'll fuck it up.
He's brand name Case Keenum.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't get this.
I was actually thinking he gives off a little bit of Rich Gannon vibes, even though Gannon did make it to a Super Bowl, but it was that one he only made it to. All the rest was like, he's a solid quarterback. Kind of Alex Smith, Drew Bledsoe, he's kind of in that.
Yeah, Drew Bledsoe's a good comparison.
Yeah, he's in that realm.
Yeah.
Penix could be the next Brady then.
I know, right? So the Falcons, I mean, if every team deserved to get a Brady, it's the Falcons. But I want the Falcons to do well. I don't love the Buccaneers as a team for a lot of reasons, mostly because of Tom Brady. But, I just don't think... Of the two of them, one of them has been more consistent in the last few years, and it's the Buccaneers.
I mean, they've, 4 straight years made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's like... And I gotta say, I have always been a big Baker Mayfield fan. I love fucking Baker Mayfield. And they have the most underrated player in the history of the NFL, in my opinion, Mike Evans. Mm-hmm. If he gets another 1,000 yards this season, he will set the record for most consecutive 1,000 yards to start a career. And it's like, how is he not
He's
ever talked about as one of the best receivers in the league?
He's in that, Andre Johnson, just always
good comparison.
Just always fucking good. Never talks, never runs his mouth, always just gets work done.
Yeah. Gets a ton of touchdowns, gets over 1,000 yards, and no one fucking talks about him.
Yeah.
And I fucking love him. I absolutely love him.
Do you want to end with the North, and we'll talk about the NFC West?
Yeah, so let's do the West. So the Bucs were the only playoff team I have in that division.
They're going to send one.
So the West, I have 2 playoff teams. San Francisco and the Rams. San Francisco 14-3, Rams 10-7. Both make the playoff.
I think you could see 3 playoff teams out of the West.
What, Seattle is the other one?
Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are quietly very good.
See, the only thing I don't like about the Cardinals is the quarterback. I don't have any faith in him.
Murray.
None. Because of just his attitude and he rubbed me the wrong way in the final, and was it last season where he was on the sideline telling his coach to relax?
I think that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. And it's like, you're such a dick. He's such an arrogant little fuck. And he hasn't really done shit. He had a couple good seasons to start his career. Uh-huh. But then all the contract shit and fucking him playing too many video games, not wanting to study and all that shit. And Kyler Murray just doesn't. He just has this douchey fucking, and I don't have faith in him.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of have faith in Marvin Harrison Jr., but it's like, Kyler Murray, the problem also is he's a short quarterback.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a lot of luck of short quarterbacks. The closest one is Doug fucking Flutie.
I was about to say, don't
he
besmirch
had his glory stolen from him thanks to Ralph Wilson, that fucking bullshit
fucking
movie
Ralph
made.
Wilson and tablecloth Rob Johnson.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm still mad about that. You want to talk about 17 years in Azkaban? I'm still mad about that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still mad about that. But I just look at them, I look at the weapons that they have, and they have a coach that really inspires their players. And I just think that they could make more noise than people are giving them credit for. So I kind of like the Cardinals in this. Obviously, the Niners are going to win the division.
Yes.
And as long as Matt Stafford stays healthy, which is a big if, I think the Rams could be really good too.
Yes.
But that's a really big if.
Yes.
So
not just Stafford. They need Cooper Kupp to stay healthy.
Yes.
Because Puka Nacua is young enough where I think he'll stay healthy, but he was at his best when they had the other guy on the other side.
Yeah.
And he was able to get a little more one-on-one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had more room to run.
Exactly.
And so they have some good weapons. I'm looking forward to them.
Yeah, I mean, I have
well.
them in the playoffs, so I think the Rams are going to be solid.
Yeah, no, I think I would put, I would put San Francisco, again, I could see as like a 15-2 team. Just because they haven't lost any steam.
Yeah,
they brought back everybody.
Trent Edwards, right? He's the one the offensive lineman. His last name's Edwards?
No. His name is Trent Williams.
Trent Williams, thank you.
So he's just coming back. They got Ayuk back. They finally have their quarterback situation ironed out. Christian McCaffrey's here. They still have all their weapons.
Yep. And this really is the final year that this whole team's going to be together.
Yeah.
Because they will have to pay Purdy next year, and then somebody's going to have to go.
And as somebody who just watched our team become the 13 seconds team that's the legacy now.
Yep.
That's what that team will be known for.
I just would like to make a passionate plea to Brock Purdy. You have said that you love Tom Brady and you learned from him. When your contract comes up next year, go for $30 million a year. That's still far more money than you'll ever see in your life doing anything else.
And it's way more than you're making now.
And you'll be able to keep every fucking player on that team.
You want to keep playing with Debo and Ayuk and McCaffrey and have Bosa on the other side?
Is Debo would be the one out because of his contract where it is now. And it's like, dude, even Trent Williams, because the whole thing they did really is they restructured it so now he has more guaranteed money.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm tired of these quarterbacks doing this bullshit. And it's like, dude, do you not fucking understand what you're doing? Look at Josh Allen once again.
Yeah.
You are tearing your fucking team apart. And you will have nothing. And you will do nothing for the remainder of your fucking career because you are taking your prime and you're taking all of your weapons away because you need more money.
The best news I could hear from Buffalo this year is that Josh is going to restructure his deal.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best news that I could hear.
I mean, you can't tell me that if somebody says, I want a 5-year, $150 million, fully guaranteed contract, $30 million a year, give me a $20 million signing bonus.
Yeah.
$170 fucking million is not enough to fucking, you know what I mean? It's like,
I know.
Dude, that is literally the definition of generational wealth.
Well, it may not be enough to buy an apartment in San Francisco anymore.
Yeah, no.
You know, things are expensive. Milk's $20,000 there.
That's fucking crazy.
No, I joke, but San Francisco apparently it's pretty
it's
rough.
Insanely
it's
expensive,
very, very expensive.
It's giving New York a run for its money.
Yeah. Seattle, I don't see anything from. I don't see anything happening in
7-10.
Seattle. The Geno Smith experiment, I think, is going to go on one more year, and then they're going to be like, well, Pete's gone. We don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah. And I think as much as I don't like Bill Belichick, I think the Patriots are going to have the same thing the Seattle had, where it's like you had an iconic coach for so long, and now that's their first season, they're gone. There's going to be a massive dip.
Yeah.
Just because it is as impossible as the Patriots saw to replace a fucking generational talent at quarterback. Now you're going to have that at coach, and they're gone? Yeah, no.
Yeah. I do love that the send-off for Tom Brady was a pick six, and the send-off for Bill Belichick was 3 seasons of absolute ass. Just like all of the legacy for the last 20 years, thrown into question.
And 3 of those seasons, watching the guy you kicked out win a Super Bowl and go to the playoffs 2 years. It's like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, good job.
What has been traditionally the worst team in the NFL, fucking the Bucs.
Yes.
All right, so we got to go to the North.
The North, the big one.
Okay.
I want the big one.
So it's going to sound like a homer thing. I do have the Bears going 14-3 and winning the division.
Wow.
The main reason is you go look at their schedule. It is, and I believe it is the 3rd easiest schedule in the NFL. It is so fucking easy. And that team is set up, I think, that Caleb Williams can have his struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And they can still win games with that. Because their weapons on offense and their weapons on defense are so fucking strong that I have them winning the division. I don't have them going to the Super Bowl. I think that would have been crazy.
Mm.
But I have the Lions 13-4, so they're right there.
Yeah.
Playoff team. Packers 9-8. Because people don't remember, Packers sucked first half of last year. They just had a good second half of the year. And then the Vikings 3-14.
Yeah, the Vikings I think are going to be in the.
Sam Darnold's going to be.
It's not going to happen.
No, that's going to be like the Giants. It's like it's still Sam Darnold.
This might be another Arizona takes Josh Rosen and then takes Kyler Murray the next year.
Yep.
We might see this whole thing with J.J. McCarthy be fully blown over, and the Giants end up getting him anyway.
Yeah.
I agree with you for the most part. I am a little less hyped on the Bears just because I don't trust Eberflus. I just don't trust him as a coach. I don't like what he brings to the dynamic.
I don't know enough about him yet.
Yeah.
There hasn't been enough. I mean, it's only been a couple seasons, and it's been such a fucking clusterfuck couple seasons.
See, that's my thing, is that I haven't seen anything that gives me confidence in the man.
Well, it's not him that gives me confidence. It's the man upstairs.
Yeah.
It's like, I have faith
Mm-hmm.
in the organization for the first time in a very long time. Because it has always been, the team was okay and it had promise, but the organization was going to do something to fuck everything up.
Yeah.
But now that's taken a little bit of a flop for me.
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, I kind of I have faith in the team, the players. I don't really know what to make of the coach yet, but I have a lot of faith in the upper management now. When it's like, ugh.
See, I could see them being an 11-win team. I do think the Lions are a 14, 15-win team. I am less hot on the Packers than a lot of people are. I think that they've lost weapons. They've lost ground in the division, in my opinion. Not as much as the Vikings. But I would still put them at like 9-8, like you're saying. I just think the Vikings are going to be like a 2-win team. Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to be one of the Dolphins teams this year. I think the Lions have more experience on every front. And I think that that's going to be a benefit to them.
See, the thing with me with the Lions is, when are they going to remember they're the Lions?
They didn't remember last year.
Well, they did in the playoffs.
They did at the very end of the playoffs.
But it's like, I look at that team, and I have a lot of love for Jared Goff, and I'm happy he has a career resurgence. I love their coach. I think he's awesome. But it's like, I've just seen that story, and that's why like, people say, oh, the Bears, oh, you're going to have a great year. I'm like, when they're hoisting the Super Bowl trophy, I'll say, wow, I think we had a good year.
Yeah.
Not before that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it too much.
Not until I see the confetti falling.
Exactly.
That's when I'll be satisfied.
Because I think of the Lions, and I think of that infamous line from the Arizona Cardinals. Why can't I think of the coach's name? It's driving me nuts.
They are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
And that's my only worry with the Lions.
Dennis Green,
thank you. Who used to coach the Vikings, which is funny. But I want to see the Lions do well. I know it sounds stupid being a Bears fan. I don't want to see the Packers and the Vikings do well. I fucking hate both of them. The Lions, just because it's a poor area, it's a poor team. They have a lot of cast-offs. They have a cast-off coach, and they found a way to win. I think the thing that has helped them is they were in a division with really, once Aaron Rodgers was out of the picture last year, the Bears, the Packers, and the Vikings weren't good until the end of the year when the Packers kind of kicked it up. This year, the Bears are going to be much better. And the Packers still are going to have the same youth and experience from the playoffs from last year going into this season. So it's going to be a tougher division than it was last year.
It's a question of how the receivers do.
Exactly.
And how much do they miss Aaron Jones at running back.
Yeah.
And now A.J. Dillon is also injured.
And right now, I mean, really their main target is Amon-Ra
St. Brown for the Lions.
And it's like that's going to be the main focus of every team.
Yeah.
And after him, are they going to have enough to be able to? And I mean, I have them 13-4. I have them one game below the Bears, so I still have them good in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I would say if we're talking playoffs, playoffs.
Playoffs?
Are you kidding me? Playoffs? Jim Morris Sr.
Yeah, a little callback to the Colts days.
Diddly poo. I would say if we're looking at divisions, I'm gonna put the Eagles, Niners, Lions, and Buccaneers in the playoffs.
So I'm the same except for the Bears and Lions switch.
Yeah.
But then I have the Lions, the Cowboys, and the Rams in the playoffs.
I'm gonna put the Rams, the Cardinals, and I'll put the Bears in there.
Nice.
Sure.
Thanks, buddy.
I think that, let's throw the Bears in there.
Nice.
I won't even make them the 7th seed.
I appreciate
I'll make
that.
the Cardinals the 7th
Thank
seed.
you. I appreciate that, bud. And then I have San Francisco winning the conference and winning the Super Bowl.
See, I'm gonna vote with my heart and have it be the Lions finally overcome everything and then stop the Chiefs from three-peating in the Super Bowl. I think that would be one of the greatest moments in NFL history recent of just like...
See, I'm along the same lines as you, except for the storyline that didn't happen last year that should have happened is Mr. Irrelevant ends the Chiefs' run.
Yeah.
And that... Because once again, I really do believe, you hear Super Bowl or bust for a lot of teams. Out of every team in the NFL, San Francisco is Super Bowl or bust.
Oh, very much so.
1,000%. They need to win this fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If they don't, they will go down like the Jim Kelly Bills.
Yeah.
As a team that was talented enough that they should have won multiple and they didn't win any.
They didn't win any.
And that's this fucking team.
Yeah. I did realize that is the one thing that will make me sick to my stomach, is if the Texans specifically, but really the Texans, Panthers, or Jaguars win a Super Bowl before we do. Because all of those teams weren't around.
I think you're fine with the other ones, but goddamn, man, the Texans
This
are
is what I'm saying, man.
The Texans could win it this fucking year.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If a team that wasn't around until 2003, 10 years after the 4 Super Bowl run, wins the Super Bowl before we do, and they have our same colors, and are also a fucking undulate.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Lions, let's go.
There we go. So that was our Super Bowl picture. That was our full NFL experience.
Yes.
We hope you enjoyed it. The games do start tomorrow. It is the
Ravens and Chiefs.
At the Chiefs, right?
At the Chiefs.
Yes. So Ravens at the Chiefs. See what happens. Last year, the Chiefs lost the first game. It's still in the Super Bowl, so we got to see what happens here.
Yep.
But I am looking forward to this season. I'm on fantasy football teams, which I swore off fantasy football, but I got talked into both of them, so I'm on fucking 2 teams. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what happens.
You got more hype than I do. This year is going to be all about managing expectations for me.
Yeah.
And just not letting myself get too depressed, but also not getting too excited at any one point in time.
Yes, I think that's safe.
So that's going to be tricky.
Yes.
Especially after the last few years of high expectations and then the previous 20 years of Jesus fucking Christ, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So.
And that's what makes both of our teams fun.
Yeah.
Is they're very similar.
Very much
to where
so.
There's few teams in this league that pull their fans to the point of pure ecstasy and then just rips it out from below.
Yeah.
And both our teams are spectacular at that.
I'm going to say this real quick. Because apparently the Bills have been voted one of the most nationally popular teams.
Yes.
They're just very hot right now. People like the Bills because of Josh Allen and other things. We're going to see the wheat and the chaff get divided here pretty quick.
Oh, the bandwagon's going to be...
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
The wheels are going to fall off all 4 of the bandwagon wagons. And the only thing we're going to be circling is 9-8.
See, my only hope, once again, is that regardless of what their end up record is, that Josh Allen doesn't do serious harm to himself.
That would be the big thing.
Because even with weapons in the past, he still pushed himself to almost killing himself.
Yeah.
And now that he's more of a focus,
he's the only thing we have.
He's it.
It's
him and 2
James
tight
Cook.
ends. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Him, James Cook,
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid, on occasion Dawson Knox,
Yeah.
maybe Shakir. If Keon Coleman ends up being an asset.
The only way he will succeed this year is if he listens to Brady. When Brady had that radio thing where he said, go for the check down instead of the home run.
Well, we've been saying for 4 years, run the ball, play the short game, take what the defense gives you, then go for the big play when it opens up. Don't try and make any play into the big play.
Yep. Because if you think about the Super Bowl winning year for the Bucs, the first half of the season was Josh Allen's. The second half of the season was Tom Brady's.
Yeah.
Because he did check down, bomb.
Yeah.
Check down, bomb. And they won a fucking Super Bowl. It's like, dude, listen to the fucking man.
He knows a little bit about how to do this.
Little bit. And you know what? He had pretty great fucking tight ends. And he knew how to get a nice little crossing route.
The 2 tight end set can work.
Yeah.
To great success.
Yeah.
Especially with a player like Josh Allen, who's a threat in the backfield. The offense was so bipolar last year. I don't know. I go back to that Denver game. That Denver game that we should have won 9 different times.
Yep.
And we just kept on shooting off toes instead. And then we went wide right just to fucking do the whole goddamn thing.
Yep.
I can't with this shit, man. Yeah. So... we'll see. We'll fucking see.
All right, folks. Well, that was episode 151 of NerdPod Generations. We really hope you enjoyed it. It was a little different. We like talk NFL every now and then. We're going to do it multiple points throughout the season.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have check-ins pretty regularly.
Yeah, usually we do an end of the season, like pre-Super Bowl type of...
We'll do, I'm sure we'll talk mid-season, how things are going. We'll talk at the end of the season, and I'm more than confident that at some point I'm going to have a watch, play, read that involves the Bills doing something either cool or terrible.
Especially those shows that we record right after the Bills game ends.
Shaw.
All right, folks. So NerdPod Generations, episode 151. Please go back, listen to our back catalog. Please go to nerdpodgen.com. Make sure to like and subscribe to all of our podcasts and on youtube.com for the videos that we put up. And Al, who does our music and artwork?
Our art is by Kortney Howell.
Awesome.
Our music is by my sauce brother, Brendan Williams, and James Connolly.
Awesome.
Our show is by me and you.
Yes.
I am Alfred Jutsam.
And I'm a very tired Steve Taylor.
I am also done.
Yes.
So we'll see you next week, friends and enemies.